Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Truth Tellers Mike. This is going to be a short video, and I'm going to be discussing the spiritual meaning and force behind the government shutdowns. Okay. Now, when a government shuts down, the headlines talk about budgets and funding gaps. But spiritually, something much bigger is happening. A shutdown isn't just a pause in paychecks or closed offices, it's a public ritual of power. It's a symbolic act where a system reveals its true nature, that it can stop at will the flow of resources that sustain people, yet keep funding the structures that protect itself. From a spiritual lens, this is about energy flow. Money is energy, policy is energy. Government is a living organism fueled by collective belief, taxes, and compliance. When it shuts down, it's not just a logistical halt, it's a signal to the people. We control the valve of provision. We can tighten it or loosen it at will. This is why, on a soul level, shutdowns feel destabilizing. It's not just jobs and services, it's the feeling that the covenant between the governed and the governing has been broken. And why does it feel spiritual, at least to me? Because there's a disruption of trust. Spirituality or spiritually, covenant and trust are sacred. When a system shows it can withhold, it mirrors an archetype of a withholding parent, a force that controls by rationing love, safety, and provision. Testing of your faith is also spiritual. That's why I feel spiritual, because now it's testing the faith. In many traditions, moments of wilderness come after provision stops. Shutdowns can act as collective tests of resilience and unity. Will people turn on each other or organize and create new ways to sustain themselves? And the revealing of idols is also spiritual, and that takes place during this time. Systems that claim to be all providing often use shutdowns to show who's dependent. Spiritually, it reveals where we've placed our faith, in government or in a higher source. And what is the hidden ritual of shutdowns? Think of a government shutdown as an energy fast, but not for the people's benefit. It's a power play. It freezes one flow of energy, services, support, while leaving others untouched, such as lobbying, corporate contracts, and interest payments. On a spiritual level, this mirrors an occult principle. If you can disrupt the rhythm of provision, you create fear. And fear is one of the most potent, harvestable energies. What's the higher perspective? There's a hidden invitation to remember that we are not our jobs, to reconnect with each other beyond institutions, to build micro systems of support that don't shut down when politics does, to see that no system, no matter how powerful, is God. When the state pauses, it exposes the illusion of permanence. Spiritually, it's a call to reclaim agency and recognize that collective power doesn't only flow downward from institutions, it flows outward from the people. A government shutdown is not just a budget crisis, it's a spiritual mirror showing who holds that valve, right? And whether we'll let fear or faith dictate our next move. Every government shutdown is more than politics, it's a spiritual event. It's a moment when the veil lifts and we see how power, fear, and faith move through society. This video breaks down the metaphysical and spiritual meaning behind government shutdowns, the symbolism, the energy shift, and what it reveals about where we've placed our trust. When a government shuts down, most people only see closed buildings, delayed paychecks, or another headline to scroll past. But beneath the headlines, beneath the noise, something far deeper is happening. Every shutdown is a spiritual tremor. It's a system's heartbeat skipping a beat. It's a sign that the energy flow of a nation is being interrupted. And that interruption carries meaning because whenever man's systems stop, spirit starts speaking. You see, government isn't just paperwork and power, it's an energy grid. It runs on belief, obedience, and collective participation. Every paycheck processed, every vote cast, every tax paid, that's energy exchanged. It's how the people feed the system. So when it shuts down, the energy flow stops. And in the spiritual world, any interruption of energy signals a shift in alignment. It's like a dam suddenly closing on a river. Pressure builds, tension rises, and what was hidden at the bottom begins to surface. Corruption, fear, and dependency. Everything that was buried in normal now becomes visible. Let's be honest, most shutdowns are never about lack of money. They're about who gets to decide how energy is distributed, who gets fed first, who waits in line. In spiritual terms, that's a ritual of control because money isn't just currency, it's belief in motion. When the system pauses paychecks, but not defense spending, when it stops social programs, but not corporate subsidies, it's showing you what it worships. A shutdown is a ritualized reminder that you depend on something that can turn your life on or off with a vote or with silence. And that's where the spiritual lesson begins. Spirituality. This is the withholding archetype, the withholding spirit. It's the same energy found in toxic relationships, manipulative leadership, or oppressive hierarchies. It's the voice that says, if I stop giving, you stop living. That's not governance. That's energetic captivity. So when a government shuts down, it exposes the illusion of provision. It's spirit showing the people your survival can't be attached to systems that don't have your soul's best interests at heart. Because the true source, the divine system, never shuts down. It doesn't need a vote to keep you breathing or your breath moving. It doesn't file extensions for sunrise or moonlight. It just is. Shutdowns are spiritual tests disguised as political theater. They test your faith frequency. They whisper, can you stay calm when comfort is threatened? Can you still build when systems freeze? Can you find peace when everything outside feels uncertain? Because fear is one of the most harvestable energies on earth. When fear spikes, control tightens. When fear rises, systems lose power. So each shutdown becomes a silent war between faith and fear, between dependency and divine provision. A shutdown exposes who we've made into gods. For some, it's money. For others, the state. For others, a party or a politician. Spiritually, it's a detox, a forced fast from man made idols. It reminds you that provision is not political, it's spiritual. That alignment attracts resources faster than policy ever can. Every time this happens, it's not just Washington arguing, it's spirit asking, do you remember who your source really is? Now, I believe our ancestors understood the cycles of shutdown, not through budgets, but through bondage. They knew what it meant when systems withheld. They farmed in scarcity, they prayed in silence, created in captivity, and yet the divine flow never stopped. That's the spiritual lineage we inherit. They thrived when systems tried to strangle them because they learned the sacred code. Man can stop a paycheck, but man can't stop purpose. That's the same energy rising in every generation now. Every entrepreneur, every activist, every creator, realizing that they can no longer wait for systems that were never built for them. What is Spirit saying right now? Maybe it's this. It's time to build new systems that don't shut down when politics does. To build communities that circulate energy, skills, support, wisdom among each other. Because real sovereignty means your survival isn't up for debate. Shutdowns can be scary, yes, but they're also rehearsals for independence. Moments when we learn how to function outside the matrix. When the man made system pauses, divine order often realigns. People reconnect, families talk again, neighbors help each other. It's as if the shutdown presses reset on the human spirit, showing that while systems can pause, spirit never stops. And maybe that's the ultimate message. A government shutdown isn't just a political pause, it's a spiritual mirror. It shows that, or it shows what runs on fear and what runs on faith, what's man made and what's God given. So the next time you read about the shutdown in the headlines, don't just look at what's closed, look at what's being revealed. Ask yourself, where have I placed my faith? What systems do I still depend on to feel secure? And what would happen if I finally tapped into the source that never shuts down? Because once you realize that divine provision can't be furloughed, you stop waiting for man to restart what God never stopped. When systems shut down, spirit steps forward, reminding us all that divine provision was never bound by policy. When man's system stops, spirit speaks, right? And this video uncovers the hidden spiritual meaning behind government shutdowns and what they reveal about fear, faith, control, and divine alignment. When a government shuts down, the news says it's about budgets, but spiritually, it's about control, about who gets to decide when the flow of provision stops. Every shutdown is an energy ritual. Money is energy, policy is energy. When the flow pauses, it exposes what we've been worshiping systems, not source. It's spirit saying, do you trust me? Is Jesus saying, do you trust me? Or do you trust the machine? Right? So when the system shuts down, fears begin to rise. But that's the test because fear is harvestable energy, faith is freedom energy. Man's system can pause your paycheck, but it can't pause your purpose. Spirit never shuts down. So I'm going to leave it here and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.